Welcome back to the Tigers Den podcast, guys. Before we get started, you know what we got to do. Smash that thumbs up button, subscribe if you're brand new, and don't forget to hit those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG at Big C Gad Game. Yo, before we get started, man, I just want to say thank you guys again for all the condolences and love after my grandfather passed away. Just getting back from the funeral this past weekend, so thank you guys again for showing so much love. Well, our Tigers moved to 11-0 after just destroying the number 14 team in the nation, the Mississippi State Bulldogs, 73-7. Grambling came out hot in the first quarter with 14 points, gave up a touchdown in the second quarter, then pitched a shutout in the second half, scored 24 points in the third, 14 in the fourth. What a day for Cody Walker, 16 of 21, 267 yards, 4 touchdowns through the air, and he did throw 1 interception. Cody is playing his best ball right now, and we're going into the last game of the season, so we're definitely going to need him. In the backfield, Pierre Jackson doing what Pierre Jackson does. 19 carries, 158 yards, 8.3 yards a carry, and 3 touchdowns. Shout out to Kevin Easley. He fell 1 yard shy of 100 yards in the second half alone. He did have a touchdown. And shout out to Bobby Harrison. He got into garbage time, and he rushed for 34 yards and 1 score. Out wide, Antonio Walker led the way with 7 grabs for 99 yards and 2 scores. Sheldon Hicks had a big day, 3 catches for 74 yards. Will Carter had 2 catches for 51 yards. Bobby Smith, 2 catches for 26 yards. Kevin Easley had 2 grabs. Tim Clark caught 1 ball for 25 yards and a touchdown. And Mike Harper, 1 catch, 16 yards and a score. On defense, it was the Caleb Causey show. His last game in the Hall, and he went off. 9 tackles, 5 for loss, 5 sacks. Caleb showed why he is the best player in the country right now. Also a big day for Brian Chase. The freshman had 8 tackles. Shout out to Kent Johnson. He had an interception, and Haley had 5 tackles. Nick Sellers also chipped in with a sack. And Davis, the big D tackle, the backup D tackle, he had a sack in this game as well. And, of course, big shout out to Eldon O'Connor. He had a huge day on the punt returns. 7 returns for 264 yards and a touchdown. He averaged 37.7 yards a return. So round it up, 38 yards a return. Man, this kid is going to be some fun. So we dig deeper into the stats, and it was just total domination by Grambling State. Doubling the first downs, 28-14, only giving up 259 yards to the Bulldogs. They held the Bulldogs' rushing game to 132 yards on the ground and 127 yards through the air. Mississippi State finished 6 of 16 on third down, and they turned the ball over twice. I'm going to have to say game ball goes to Caleb Causey with his 9 tackles and 5 sacks. Second would be Eldon O'Connor for his punt returns, and then Cody Walker through the air with the 4 touchdown passes. Comments down below. Let me know who you guys think the player of the game was this week. Time to take a look at the polls going into the last week of the regular season. Grambling State still sitting on top at 11-0, number 1 in the country, followed by Army. They're 11-0. They're in at number 2. Texas up to 3 with 1 loss to us. Penn State is coming in at 4. Oklahoma is 5. Oklahoma State is 6. Bama is 7. Miami of Ohio is 8. BYU is up a spot to 9. And Vanderbilt creeps into the top 10. And we got to send a big shout out to our big defensive end, the captain, the senior, Caleb Causey. He is the NCAA player of the week with 8 tackles and 5 sacks. Also, big shout out to offensive player of the week, Corey Wilson, the quarterback from Purdue. 20 of 32, 482 yards through the air, 5 touchdowns. So it's time to hit the recruiting trail. We welcome the newest member to the recruiting class. This is Bill Temple, a 6', 203-pound athlete from Hot Springs, Arkansas. He chose Grambling State over Texas, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Texas A&M. And he's a 3-star prospect, man. He's got 92 speed, 91 agility, 89 acceleration. Great coverage skills, man. We're going to put him at safety with that 84 zone coverage. He can wrap up to 66 tackle and his 71 hit power. He's going to be a great addition to the secondary room. So let's take a look at the top of the board, and we are in a battle for big defensive tackle Charles Hodges. He's 6'3", 274, and right now Ohio State has a huge lead over Grambling State. But if we could stay in it until the offseason, I think we'll be able to get him. We're also in a battle for athlete J.J. Rouse from Beaumont, Texas. The 6'1", 200-pound four-star has Grambling State in first place, but by a slim margin over Ohio State. Talk about another tight race. Kareem Bowser, the number 1 wide receiver in this class from Georgetown, Texas. He has Grambling State as his number 1 team, but Baylor is real close, only trailing by 415 points. We've got a huge lead for DN Chris Bobo, the 6'3", 240-pounder, has Grambling State as his number 1 team and could sign hopefully by the end of this week. We've fallen back to third place for Justin Wheatley, the 6'6", 288-pound tackle from Mount Pleasant, Michigan. We're trailing Bowling Green and Mississippi State right now. But again, if we can keep this race going into the offseason, I think we might have a chance. We are also trailing for Thad White, the 6'3", 277-pound guard from Mercedes, Texas. Right now, Mississippi State has a slim lead, less than 700 points. And we're fighting for middle linebacker Michael Jansen, the 6', 218-pounder from Ohio. And he's looking to stay close to home. He's got Cincinnati just ahead of Grambling by less than 1,000. Outside linebacker Ryan Mills has narrowed his list down to 2 teams. Grambling State is number 1 on his list, but Ole Miss is still in striking distance. Hopefully we can land the number 3 outside linebacker from Florida. Our lead continues to grow for Joe May, the 6', 189-pound athlete from Missouri. Grambling is ahead of Texas, Texas A&M, Miami, and Oklahoma. Maurice Johnson, the athlete from Ohio, he's 6'2", 243-star, has Akron as his number 1 team, but Grambling State is not too far behind. And new addition, James Sharp, the defensive end from Pennsylvania, 6'3", 247. A JUCO transfer is falling in love with Grambling, man. He's got GSU ahead of Maryland, Indiana, Navy, and Cincinnati. So right now, Grambling State has the 7th-ranked recruiting class in the nation, but we are definitely going to be looking to add to that, man. If you guys want to stay up to date with everything Grambling and the recruiting class, make sure you're following me on social media, Facebook, Twitter, and IG at Big C Gat Game. I'm going to try to get something special up on IG for you guys this week, so make sure you guys head over there and follow your boy. So it's the last game of the regular season, and we're headed to South Bend to take on the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Notre Dame comes in 6-5 on the season with some tough losses, man. They got blown out by Michigan by 21. Then they lose to Penn State by 12. Then they lose to Indiana by 3 in overtime. Then go to Ohio State and get blown out by 22. They're coming into the last game of the season off of a loss to Maryland, 38-17. Notre Dame is led by senior QB Jared Woods. He's 6'3", 205. A pocket passer who's thrown for 1,815 yards, 20 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. And this kid is good. He's got 97 throw power and 99 accuracy. Not much of a scrambler, but we know we have to keep an eye on these guys with the low speed and low agility because they like to creep out of the backfield. On the ground, junior running back Kyle Edwards leads the way with 167 carries for 1,068 yards and 12 touchdowns. Behind him is backup freshman Lance Brooks. He's got 342 yards and 2 scores. And then Jared Woods, the quarterback, he's got 181 yards and 3 touchdowns. Out wide, they got a stud wide receiver at Jeff Randall. He's 6'1", 189. He's got 61 grabs for 879 yards and 10 touchdowns. Then you got to keep an eye on tight end Tom Young, 6'4", 255. Big dude. 30 grabs for 434 and 2 scores. Then there's Donald James, a junior wideout, 6'1", 181, 29 grabs, 324 yards and 1 touchdown. And then you got other guys like Ryan Robinson. He's a 90 overall, 6'1", 198, 433 and 2 scores. Rusty Morgan, he's got 24 grabs for 279 and 3 touchdowns. And out of the backfield, Kyle Edwards has 23 grabs for 270 and 4 scores. This offense is nice. We're going to have to be ready to play this week. On defense, sophomore Jesse Bostic leads the way with 77 tackles. He's a big dude at right outside linebacker, 6'5", 251. Then you have to keep an eye on right defensive end Arthur Daniels, 63 tackles and 3.5 sacks on the season. Then there's left outside linebacker Jermaine Jones, 61 tackles, 2.5 sacks. But their best pass rusher is Bruce Perkins. He's got 4.5 sacks on the season. The junior is 6'2", 249. And in the secondary, strong safety Ryan Tucker leads the way with 3 interceptions, followed by Max Johnson, the corner. The senior has 3 picks as well. Bostic, the right outside linebacker, he has 3 interceptions. Then there's Brooks Horn. He's got 2 picks, but he's hurt this week. And free safety Andre Coleman, he's an 82 overall. He has 2 interceptions. Slater and Russell both have 1 interception apiece. Now it's time to dig a little bit deeper into this Irish roster. Let's start at wide receiver. Notre Dame has a stacked receiving group led by Jeff Randall. Then you have Ryan Robinson, who's a 90 overall with 95 speed and 97 acceleration. Donald James is a 88 overall. He's got 88 speed. Then you have Rusty Morgan, an 84 overall with 88 speed. Brian Roberts, a sophomore, 78 overall, 86 speed. And then they've got Nate Brown, the redshirt freshman. Hey, that's where I'm from, Park Forest, Illinois, 6'2", 186. He's a 78 overall with 95 speed. At tight end, I mentioned it before, we got to keep an eye on Tom Young, 6'4", 255, and 89 overall. But his backup is no slouch. Carlton Jones, 84 overall with 81 speed. Taking a look at the Irish offensive line, Ben Skinner is your normal left tackle, the freshman, but he is hurt this week. So look for Timothy Vaughn, another freshman to see playing time. He's a 70 overall. At guard, Jimmy White leads the way. He's an 85 overall. At center, there's Todd Jones. He's an 86 overall. Right guard, Reggie Williams. He's an 88 overall, 6'5", 280. And at right tackle, you have Akeem Johnson. He's an 84 overall. They have a solid offensive line, but I love our defensive line and the pass rushing skills that they have. I believe we can bring pressure and get some sacks. Taking a look at the Irish defense, Bruce Perkins leads the way. He's an 88 overall at left end with 81 speed. On the right side is Arthur Daniels, an 81 overall with 74 speed and 83 strength. Up the middle, they're a little weak, man. Jesse Novak, he's a true freshman, 79 overall. And then you have Austin Brown, the junior. He's also a 79 overall. But where the Irish stand out is at linebacker, left outside linebacker, and the captain, Jermaine Jones. He's a 90 overall with 86 speed and 94 acceleration. At middle linebacker, Craig Slater. He's a 93 overall. And his backer mate is James Bryan. He's a 91 overall with 83 speed. At right outside linebacker, there's Jesse Bostic. He's the star of this defense, 85 overall with 86 speed and 93 acceleration. Now, where we can take advantage of Notre Dame is in their secondary. Brooks Horner is a 91 overall. He's a senior, but he is hurt this week. So that means Max Johnson is their best corner on the roster right now. He has 88 speed with 90 acceleration. He's an 82 overall. Then on the other side, you have Jarrett Payne. He's an 82 overall with 91 speed. And then it takes a big drop off. You have Jesse Edwards. He's a 73 overall. And Scott Tanner, he's a 70 overall. Look for our slot players to have a big game this week. At free safety, you have Andre Coleman. He's an 82 overall with 93 speed. And then the hard-hitting Ryan Tucker. He's a 91 overall with 90 speed and 98 acceleration. And it looks like Herbie is rolling with Grambling State this week. Thanks for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, make sure you smash that thumbs up button. Subscribe if you're brand new. Don't forget to hit those links down in my description. Follow your boy on Facebook, Twitter, and IG at Big C Gat Game. And make sure you ring that bell. Join the Noti Squad. And we're going to talk to you from South Bend as our Tigers head out for the last regular season game of Season 8 to take on the Fighting Irish. Have a great day, guys. 2 fingers in the air. Peace.